What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Another day, another dollar, hopefully. That's the goal. I'm trying to lock my house here. This is not great. Leaving for another session, day 2 of, this fell off. Nice little garden. I don't know. I just wanted to show you a garden. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm walking to my car. Another session over at Encore right now. It's about 7 o'clock, so maybe we'll start the session at 8-ish. I don't know. Really want to play today, be productive. So second day of the bankroll challenge, second session here. We're off to a good start. Finally broke out of my losing streak, so hopefully we can keep this up, cash in another session, make some more money, make some more progress, because I need it. Let me run good one more time, please, today. But I'll see you guys in the hands because I can't record. But let's get into the hands. Hopefully we run well. The first one we get involved in, we look down at some black ace queens in the small blind with an under the gun straddle. So love that. Love to see the straddle on board. It's always good for the game, especially when there's 5 limpers to me. So much dead money in the middle. So, and with a pretty strong hand out of position, gonna raise it up on the bigger side here to $45. The straddle makes the call, and one of the undergun +2 limper calls, and the cutoff calls. So we've got a really bloated pot with a pretty good hand, and I really can't put any of these limpers on a strong enough hand to really, I guess, call down here. I don't know. We're playing a huge pot now, and let's do it. Let's do it multi-way. So I'm out of position, and the flop comes 10, 6, 3, 2 spades out there. So not really the best flop I could ask for, honestly. I do have the ace of spades, which is okay, and 2 overs. So, I mean, a lot of the time, I'm just going to have to c-bet this because I think I have, like, jacks, queens, kings a lot of the time here. So I lead c-bet 125 with 2 overs. Like, even if I am behind, like, a pair of 10s, which is probably the best that someone could have in this spot, I have just so much equity with backdoor spades and the 2 overcards. So I bet 125. The straddler goes in the tank for a while and makes the call, and the cutoff calls for less, 110. He's all in. So not really the ideal spot. I really would have loved to just take it down, obviously, but let's go 3 ways to the river, or to the turn, 1 all in, and the guy in the straddler who tank called has about like $30, $40 behind. So honestly, it's not looking great. So let's go to a turn, which is a 7, not a spade, so basically a brick. I check, he checks it back. River is a king. I wish it was any other face card, but it's a king, and that's not the best run I could ask for. So I check, and he quickly checks. I announce I have ace high, and obviously I'm never good here. The straddler shows 6-4 of hearts for a pair of 6s, which beats me. And the cutoff shows king 5 of spades for the rivered pair of kings. I don't know, man. Like, what are you calling $45 pre with those hands? Like, what is happening? I don't understand. And how do you make that call? And how does 6-4 make that call? And I guess king 5 short stacked has to call it off there, which is totally fine. But that's how that hand went. So you guys can just leave it in the comments for yourselves and what you guys think about that. Next hand, we have king queen offsuit on the button. Under the gun opens up to $12, and there's 2 calls to me. I think for a little bit, and I really want to 3-bet this all the time, but it is the under the gun player, and I mean, you'd never really want to 3-bet the under the gun player too light. So I just flat here, and the small blind calls as well. So let's go multi-way to a flop of 9-4-4, 2 spades out there. Under the gun ends up leading for $25. So not bad when I have the king of spades, and it folds to me, and I'm just given such a great price to continue, obviously. So I just call. Turn is a 7. He checks to me, and I mean, I'm putting him on like either a hand of 10s or 8s, I think. And I decided to just bet $65. I don't think he has too many 9s, and with that really small C bet on the flop, he could be really weak. He tanks for a long time and calls with only $15 behind. So, like, we're just going to go to a river. The river's an absolute brick. I don't really remember, but action goes check, check. He shows Jack 9 of clubs and takes it down. So I don't know what he really tanked for like a long time on the turn. I don't know what was going on there, but action goes check, check. We lose, and we're moving on to the next hand. Following hand after that, I have ace, queen in middle position, black ace, queens once again. There's a limper to me. I raise it up to $15, and we get 3 calls around. So in middle position here, multi-way. Hopefully we'll see a good flop and maybe win a hand this session. Flop comes 7, deuce, 5 with 2 spades out there. Pretty good flop-ish. I mean, I don't know. I have 2 overs and the backdoor nut flush draw. So limper leads. One of the limper leads out for $15. 15 into 60. Yeah, I guess we'll call this, and the other players call as well. So we're still gonna go 4 ways to the turn, which is a king of spades. Really good card for me. I have the nut flush draw now and an over, and I don't think the king could hit a lot of people as it really hits my range. So once again, the limper checks to the limper, and he bets $15 again. Now at this point, like, what are we doing here? Why are you betting 15 into 120? It doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm going to raise, probably just try to maximize my fold equity here to $75. Everyone else folds onto this limper who decides to make the call. So I think he's pretty sticky with something. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping to improve. River is another king. Interesting card, especially when he leads once again for $25. Like, that is so frustrating to me. And I think a lot of the time here, like, he could just be betting really small, hoping I'd spaz and raise it up here. He could be nutted on this board, but I can't really think of too many hands that he'd be nutted on. This is also the same person with the king 5 of spades in my last ace queen hand. So he could have a bunch of different hands, and obviously ace high is never good in this spot. So I took a stab at it. I raised it up to 125. He snap jams all in about, like, I don't know, 200-300 or whatever it was. It didn't matter because I just snap fold. He shows king 7 offsuit for the boat, so he played it well against me. Took him to Value Town, or took myself to Value Town, and he just he has my number in this session. Just has my number. A few hours later, we move tables, and we get dealt ace jack in the big blind. An early position player limps. Hijack raises the $15. The cutoff calls, the small blind calls. I'm just going to flatten this spot with only $12 to call, and early position limper calls. So we're going multi-way to a pretty bloated pot to a certain degree here. And let's go to a flop of jack 6-7 2 clubs. Top. Really good flop for me. And even though it's multi-way, it's connected. It's kind of connected, but I think I'm good here a lot of the time. So small blind ends up donk leading for $30. I didn't get that at all. It's really small, and I think I can just raise here a lot of the time. But I mean, with so many people to act, like, I'm not really going to overplay my one paired hand because there's a lot of 6-7s, strong draws like 8-9 of clubs, stuff like that I could raise with an ISO with, but with just top and so many people to act, I just flat here. I'm hoping to get stacks in on the turn. So I call. Early position limper ends up doing the raising for me. He jams for $85 total. The hijack is in the tank for a long time, and he ends up folding. And actions back onto the small blind, who ends up re-raising the jam to $200. I started off really short. I call 100 bigs really short because I think it is short. So there's really not much of a decision. It's an easy jam here in this spot. And when he raises the 200 to me, like, I'm just gonna get it in with top and hope it holds somehow. So that's what I do. I jam for a total of 312. It's only about like 100 more for the cutoff to call, and he really reluctantly calls. So I think I've got him beat at the very least. So let's go 3 ways, all in, to a run out of a 6 of spades and a 10 of clubs. Club draw gets there, of course. I show my ace jack, and I take down the side pot. Early position shows 3-5 of clubs, and he wins the main. Cutoff, or the side jack, the guy who tanked, ended up saying that he folded king jack. I really would have loved him to be in it as well, but that's unfortunate there. And even when we do win, we don't win. So that's how that hand went, and I'm just not running well at all this session. Partly my fault, partly the cards. I have pocket kings. We're six-handed, and I'm an under the gun +2 with an under the gun straddle out there. And yeah, kings is a really great spot, and usually I'd open up here, but I commit a mortal sin and limp. I open limp my kings because sometimes you got to mix things up, and I tried at this spot, but of course it backfires because there's 3 limpers behind, and the straddle just checks, and we're going to go 4 or 5 ways to a flop. We're gonna go 4 or 5 ways to a flop, limped pot of 6-9 deuce rainbow. Sorry, great flop for kings, obviously, just not enough money in there, and it checks to the straddler who bets $15. Unfortunately, with the way I played it, just gonna call here now and flat, and the small blind flats as well. So let's go 3 ways to a turn, which is a queen, completes the full rainbow, no backdoor flush draw, which is great. Action checks all the way to me, obviously, with pocket kings here. Like, I'm good almost all the time. So I decided to bet fairly small, $35. The straddler is the only caller. River is a deuce. He checks to me. It's an amazing card. Like, when he calls that turn bet, I think he could have, I guess, a queen 9 sometimes, but he is the straddler, so his range is infinite. So you could have 6-9s, queen 9, stuff like that. The deuce is a really good card to counterfeit all 2 pairs. So I decided to bet 125, sizing up really big, targeting a queen, targeting like shitty queen 9s or something. Or queen 9's an easy snap call, but bet 125, and he folds a 9. So I should have gotten a little more value, like with the smaller bet, but wanted to go for max value instead, and we take it down. So unfortunately, you'll see one of those times. Why did I limp with kings? What am I doing? We are in the small blind with ace-queen offsuit. Once again, the beloved ace-queen that we've been going so well in this session. So middle position player limps. The button raises up to $15, and he's a pretty big stack, so hoping to get stacks in with him. I decided to 3-bet to 50, and he is the only caller. So let's go heads up to a flop of queen 7-4, 2 clubs. Really nice flop, obviously, top. I'm out of position here. I'm just going to give a barrel all the way down, hopefully. Targeting another queen or flush draws. So I bet $45, pretty small. Basically getting a call from this entire range, I feel like. And that's exactly what he does. He just calls here. Turn is the 8 of diamonds. Once again, not a card that changes a whole lot. So I'm going to barrel bigger, targeting a queen, targeting a crying, I guess, draw, maybe. But 125, trying to get max value here. And once again, he really quickly makes the calls. So when he calls this turn bet, I mean, I think his range is pretty narrow to queen X. Probably queen 10s, queen jacks, and king queens of the world. So it makes a lot of sense. Like, they could easily defend from a 3-bet, especially on the buttons. So the river is a 10. So it unfortunately destroys our hope with one of the combos that we were beating from a queen. And I think for a long time, and so here's what I'm thinking. Out of position, I'd rather target and get value, bet a small bet of 150. That's what I ended up betting. I bet 150, targeting value from king queen and queen jack. If he has 2 pair or better, he's going to fire on the, when I checked him, he's going to fire the 150. And if anything, if he does have something better than that, then he'd probably raise as well. So I really quickly know, so I really easily know when I'm behind or ahead. So I decided to just bet 150 to kind of middle it, get value from worse queens, and I hear from anything better. He snap calls that 150, and he has queen 10. So that sucks. Getting 3-outed sucks, but I just want to justify that line of thinking and me trying to get thin value from another queen, because I definitely think that I liked my line a lot. I really liked it. Just want to let you guys know, like, my mindset of it, because I've talked to a few people about my line, and they said maybe you should check it back, but I'm heavily defending my bet there because, like I said, I get value from king queen, queen jacks, and I hear from better queens or straight or something if I do check it. And it's going to be a hard fold regardless, depending on his sizing, obviously. But it's going to be a hard fold for me with top. The last hand that we will go over, this is the one that you guys have been clicking this video on and really wanting to hear about. So I'm going to do it. We're going to go over it. Before we do, just let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Also, if you haven't liked the video already, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. But this one is going to get a little dicey. So hopefully you guys are in for a good treat. So I am in the big blind with 4 or 5 of clubs. Under the gun raises it up to $12, and there's 6 callers. 6 callers to me. So with $84 dead money in the middle, I have 4 or 5 of clubs. Very easy squeeze 3-bet spot, I think. If only it wasn't the under the gun player who raised. But still, I'm going to 3-bet here on the bigger side to $85. The goal is just to take down the 84, 85 dead in the middle. But things quickly change when the under the gun player 4-bets me to $235. And obviously, everyone's going to fold at $12, and the action's back onto me. And I'm like, well, how did I get in this situation? So this is really unfortunate. 4 bets, small and low range stakes. It's literally just aces or kings. And with 4-5, honestly, one, just understand that I was super tilted, super stuck, and figured, let's just do it. I don't have a big stack behind. I only started with 450, give or take. So what I call this, I'm carrying half my stack and really just going to go all in or fold on a good flop here. So I know he has aces or kings, so it's really easy to play against him face up. And maybe I get lucky, and maybe I hit a flop or something like that, like flop 2 pair and cooler his aces or kings. Regardless, not a play that I recommend, but I call the 4-bet. So we're going to go heads up to a 4-bet pot with 4 or 5 of clubs out of position to make things better. So the flop comes deuce, 3, 6. Are you kidding? I just flopped the nuts? Really? I just flopped the nuts? Yep, I flopped the nuts. So I'm sitting here, 4-5. What the hell just happened? Holy shit. So I check. He jams. I snap call. He covered me by like a little bit. So I'm all in. And I flip it over with the nuts. He has queens. There is a heart draw, so he does have a queen of hearts. Turn comes a little bit of a sweat. It's the 9 of hearts. And the river, to make things just a little worse, it's another queen. So he rivers a set of queens, and I flopped the straight with 4-5 in a 4-bet pot. I cannot make this up. Look at the thumbnail of this video. You'll see maybe the board, I think, if you really try to look. But yeah, that's how that happened. You can't make that stuff up. I don't know. But first of all, shout out to the dealer, Brendan. One of the best dealers in Encore for dealing me this. And 2, also one of the best because any bet sizing, he can just shout out any athlete's jersey number. So if you have him as a dealer, you play at Encore, tip him well. Shout out to you for flopping me that, because that is literally the craziest thing ever. Me personally trying to punt off some money, but instead we flopped it. So that was how that hand went. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I think that was fun. I'm never going to play a 4-bet pot with 4-5 ever again, but for that one time, it was a good experience. Can't say I don't make interesting videos and go over some interesting hands. You just can't say that I don't do that, because I do. It's one hell of a session. Played for 7 hours, and I was in the game for this whole bankroll challenge thing. Doesn't really exist because I was in for the whole bankroll. I was in for 1,000. Found a way to be in for 3+ max buy-ins at 1-3. That's just the way I play. I don't know. I feel like I just torture myself through this, but yeah, I was in for 1,000 and found a way. If there was a will, there's a way, and I found a way to be unstuck for the session. After 7 hours, I cashed out for $11.33. 28, 11.28, a profit of $120. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna cut this here. So yeah, I that's all I can say. Like I make interesting videos and I make things happen, and sometimes I'm just a huge fish, and we just flop it in a 4-bet pot with 4-5 of clubs. So yeah, like I said, I'm done talking. It's 3 a.m. I'm tired. I need to go home, need to go to bed, edit this video, and I'll post it for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more content, I gotta put on the seatbelt, damn it. Well, I'm ending this video now. If you want to see more content like this, with craziness, ridiculous hands, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.